Sparking Change for Harmonious Living is a TV show that inspires action. It motivates you to start a journey towards a more balanced, fulfilling life. This show explores well-being through spirituality, mental clarity, and physical health. It covers topics like mindfulness, nutrition, fitness, and spirituality, giving you practical advice to enhance your life. Tune in for a transformative adventure that ignites the change you seek.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I am your host, Giovanna Tartarone.
And I'm your co-host, Ahmed Bahman.
And today's show, we're going to talk about our furry friends. You know, I have a little cat, and I know she brings lots of joy to my home, to me. And she truly is, for me, a healing modality that makes me feel good just when I need it. She comes to me exactly when I need it. But they're also, our pets are like our children because we fall in love with them. And let's talk about them because there's something about them that I feel, Ahmed, having a pet, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. I mean, I have a cat, so she's pretty simple, but a dog probably requires a lot more work. And let's talk about how they really help us to create that inner peace and joy.
Yes. So you have, it was one time I saw a video of Abraham Hicks, and she
Mm.
said something quite interesting that got my attention. She said when they described about why pets are very important in our lives, whether it's a cat, whether it's a dog, or any animal that can be domesticated, of course, is that they're considered to be energy balancers.
Mm.
You see, when you look at the animal kingdom, they're already in harmony with their own cycle and the things that they do in general. And if you check throughout history, animal behavior has always remained the same. It's only us that we're all most of the time we're in disharmony with ourselves. So when you're having a bad day, and remember the animals, since they're in harmony, they're on that harmonic rhythm. So when
They
you
never have a bad day.
they never have a bad day. So you start petting them. For example, a cat, right? Whether you're
Yeah,
hugging the cat and you're petting it, the purr that it keeps doing, purr, and all
yeah.
that sound, it's emitting its own vibration onto you, trying to bring you back into harmony. That's how beautiful pets are.
Wow. Never, ever seen it that way. That's why we feel so good to pet them. And
Yes,
they want more of it too. So
yes,
it's
because
making them feel good as well.
yes, they feed off of affection from us. Again, see, if God is all about love, love is all about God. So when you're getting close to an animal, they can sense your heart. They can know if you're feeling down, if you're feeling happy, if you're being playful that day, you know. So a little bit of affection to them means everything. In the end, we're all made up of the same energy. Like energy always brings back to you more of the same. So pets are the same. And they're beautiful in reflecting the kind of emotions you're emitting outward.
I regret the fact that so I was born in Italy. I'll share a little story. I was born in Italy and I was put in a playpen outside where my mom worked outside. And I was no more than 3, 4 years old, very young. And my neighbor's dog, it was a black, I wanted to say German Shepherd, but it was a nice, mean looking dog. And it barked right in my face. I still remember that day. And ever since then, growing up, I never wanted animals. Never, 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 never. And then all of a sudden, my son, I don't know, it was 2017 during the time when I was going through my diagnosis. He brings home this little kitten. It was this tiny. So, of course, we named her Penny, right? And I tell you, that cat was for me. At first, I was like, I don't want this cat in the house. My furniture was perfect. I had leather couches. No one I even sat on those couches. We never even used them, only when company came over. Well, this cat, I hope my husband's not watching the show, but this cat destroyed all my leather couches. Like there's scratch marks all over. And you look at the cat, you're like, okay, I'll deal with the couches. We can replace the couch, but we can't replace the cat. But the truth of the matter is, all those years, I was so afraid of animals because of that one experience. And now the joy that it brings to my life, I'm like, forget the couches, I'll take another cat any day. But I do know they're also a lot of work. But yes, they do bring a lot of joy. And now I understand why.
My mother-in-law always says, he said, she's always had a dog. So, and I kept asking her, before I got to spend some time with her. She had this boxer, and I said, "What does it feel like owning a dog?" And she said, "Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of love being exchanged, but it's like having a baby that doesn't grow up. Yes,
Well,
there
the
is
best
some
part
work."
of it, they don't even talk back. That's awesome. That's very awesome, right?
I
Um,
mean, look how funny this is. We're talking about how pets are enjoyable. Look at our energy just shifted just thinking about
yeah.
them. So can you imagine what it feels like for those families that have a actual pet that, for example, there's a lot of single individuals who are living by themselves, right? Having a pet at home can fill in a huge gap in someone's life. And for example, not only that, there has been cases where, uh, houses, for example, got attacked. Who's there to protect them that's so loyal? Having such a good
Or
dog.
when a new baby comes into the home, right? The
Yes,
dog is right next to the baby, making sure that no one hurts the baby. So
absolutely.
they do become, um, they feel our energy.
Yes. And this is their home. They're just part of the family. For example, it's so amazing even how intelligent some dogs are. For example, you have a golden retriever or a labrador. They usually train them from point A to point B on how to basically help its blind owner to basically transport himself around without losing track of where he's supposed to go, or for example crossing the street where there are cars.
Hmm.
So these things come so much in handy. And if you look at it, like it has truly made the lives of people better in a lot of ways. But you see, yes, there are some certain groups, for example, they have a dog for different reasons, whether they want to have a fight between
Right,
animals or
right,
something,
right.
but what I'm talking about here is that how much of a difference can one pet make? For example, if there's a family, a complete family, and they have somebody, they lost someone in the family. So in order to fill in that gap, even for little children, it makes a huge difference in their emotions, and keeps them optimistic. To,
Of
for example,
course.
you bring them a baby dog, they're optimistic. How's this dog gonna look when it grows up? What
I,
interaction?
I will make you laugh because for many years, my son, my son and my daughter are 10 years apart almost, and for many years he requested a pet, and I bought every stuffed animal pet that you can imagine, not to buy the real one, a remote control one and a robotic one. It never did the job. It had no
No, no,
feelings.
it
But I
had no
do agree with
feelings. Yeah.
you.
I saw one time there was a case of someone, I think, was stuck in a very cold climate area where one of his foot turned black, and due to, I think, his foot got a bit frozen. And the article went that he had a German Shepherd dog, and this German Shepherd dog, every day, as his owner was watching TV, he had that foot stretched out, and he had no sensation in it whatsoever. So he saw that his dog just kept licking his foot, underneath his foot. And it wasn't too long, like probably like couple of weeks in, he started feeling a tingly sensation. So he went back and forth to his podiatrist, and his podiatrist told him that, you know what? If your dog loves you this much to lick your foot, just allow him to do what he's still doing, because pets do have instincts.
They
They
do.
know if there's something wrong with you, they know how to make things work around you in order to make you feel a bit more comforted. So what happened was, as this dog was licking, yes, he had, of course, certain bacteria in his tongue, but what he was promoting for that foot was an increase in circulation in order to regenerate the nerves for sensation.
Wow. Wow. I will also share. So I studied a modality called the emotion code, where we release emotions from the body. It's energy work that I do. And it's also done on animals, because animals, as well, we talked about the energy, they get stuck emotions in their bodies from their traumas. So one time I had this client that said to me, my dog was rescued and she only had 3 legs. So she wasn't a happy dog. She was older. And so she's like, can you help my dog with the work that you do? I said, of course. So I did the work from my office. Obviously, the dog is at home. And that evening, she sent me the message. She said, whatever you did, the dog is much happier now and walking around. So I want to say, not only do they help us, but we also need to recognize that they may need help as well,
Yes.
and this type of service is available for animals, because in so many ways they're like humans,
Yeah.
in so many ways.
Well, scientifically, we're mammals.
How far
So
back are you going?
not too far back. Well, I've seen recently, even when it comes to healthcare for animals, it's been like only recently there has been specialists like chiropractors snapping their spines and necks back into its alignment, and I was like fascinated. I was like, wow, this is how much we've advanced, and we've learned so much about the human anatomy. But when it comes to the animal kingdom, like to go as a chiropractor, that's something amazing to see how things are emerging in that arena.
Absolutely.
Um, for me, like in my parents' house, yes, we have a cat, and my mother. There was a time that she was feeling quite lonely because I've traveled far away from my country. So this cat was the only thing that was comforting her. And if you look at a lot of let's say around in the Egyptology, they always used to have cats around because they considered cats to be something of like it had a spiritual ability. You've heard of the term that cats have 7 lives.
Oh, yes, I have. I used only 5, but anyway. I have. So go ahead, tell me more.
Another thing is, apart from them being energy balancers, if you grab a cat, and this is like a phenomena that they have in any from any direction, that if a cat is falling down, it always manages to land on its feet.
I can't believe some of the things my daughter does with the cat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're going to get hurt. And she's like, Mom, relax.
Yeah.
But yes, you're right. They do know. And they have their vision is out of this world. They can see something from very far. And their hearing is also um, very good as well.
Well, they have similar to and definitely detect energy as well. Another kind of pet which has always been my favorite are birds.
Mm,
And growing up, I've always had parrots. Why did I love parrots? Because they can
They didn't
mimic.
shut up.
So we had a parrot, and it was an African gray. It was learning how to dance. It was learning how to talk. But my mother always wanted to make sure that the bird is not destroying things around the house. So there was a time that and I always used to leave the cage open because I believe in pet to be free around the house as well. I don't like them being locked up, but that's just me. Many
Mhm.
people may oppose it. So one day she decided to keep it in a room with the door closed. Now for 3 days we didn't see that bird walk around, and on the fourth day that bird was walking around. So my mother asked me. She said, "Did you open the door of the room?" I said, "No." And as soon as we got there, we didn't realize that for 3 days, this parrot was working like a carpenter, digging a huge circle within the door and just getting out.
Wow. So they didn't want to be locked up.
No, but that's throughout all the animal kingdom. None of them actually want to feel trapped.
It's funny too. I've heard stories when, animals are left alone, like the couch is destroyed, right? They come home and the pillows are destroyed or something because you left them alone. And they're like, oh, you left me alone? And I'm going to teach you a lesson. Don't ever leave me alone anymore because they truly need us as well, right? So,
Absolutely.
um,
I mean,
yeah, I have a soft heart for pets that are abandoned and
yes,
I don't.
I mean, we have the pound. They collect them off the street if they don't have a tag, if they're not microchipped. And this is where I want to discuss on the importance for dog owners to truly be responsible. Like we've seen many cases where, for example, if an expat has been in the country and they want to leave, they can't take the dog with them. They just leave it loose on the street. So there is, as much as it's amazing to have pets, but we should always also be responsible in making sure to relocate them if we can't keep them anymore instead of letting them go, because apart from the suffering that they may receive, at the same time, when they're afraid, they could also harm someone, for example a dog as well.
Right, right. No, I totally agree with that because again, if we're seeing them as little people as well, because they do have a heart that beats, they do have
Yes.
emotions. Um, they do sense when. I mean, my daughter calls me sometimes. She goes, "When are you going to get home? The cat's been alone all day." Like we feel um,
Yes.
that they are lonely because we become so attached to them. And this is, I've noticed even, and they're very bright because they actually know, like if you leave them alone, my cat anyway, she'll be mad at you. Like she doesn't even want to play with you for the first day, or she'll go to my daughter just to stay away from me, or vice versa. If my daughter's not home, she'll stay with me and not go to my daughter for a couple of days. So they're very, very smart animals. The animals do have that sixth sense, we call it,
Yeah.
because they can truly tell when you're upset, when you're sad, when you're happy, and you can see their behavior as well. um, my sister has dogs and very sensitive to like somebody, the mailman's driving by or the truck and nonstop barking, 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 barking. I'm like, okay, your dog needs a little help. Shouldn't bark that way. But they do sense strangers and things like that. But I
Uh,
love to grab the cat and just make it. It's almost like the same thing. You go take a bubble bath. It gives you almost the same feeling, right? It's just they're soft, they're cuddling, and they don't speak back. That's the best part.
but and having pets also, when once we increased our domestication of them in order to basically have them as part of the family,
Hmm.
what happened is the pet grooming industry picked up like a rocket.
Yeah.
And it just created a whole new economy for us.
And not only that, what just rang a bell is I recall when I was teaching children with autism, they used horses and animals to help them with the sensory and the feelings and the emotions of animals to help them really connect. So they're very therapeutic as well in many different ways, even
and
with
and
children.
and another thing is, if there's one thing that I can assure that we learn from animals, is their intuition. They're highly intuitive. they they can always sense things. So, and that's, that's part of one of our higher faculties.
Yes, yes. So so for those of you who don't have any pets, maybe you like to consider, but there's always the other side of owning a pet and being responsible for another child. There is that expense that goes along with it. So I highly recommend getting pet insurance because it comes in really handy because they do get sick. And if they're part of the family, I've heard people spend tons of money for, operations to make sure that they are alive because they do mean they are part of the family, right?
Absolutely.
The other thing I want to talk about is when pets are left, when people go on vacation, they leave their pets to a babysitter or a pet. Um,
A pet sitter.
yeah, I guess a pet center. There's a name for it though. Um, what do you think is going on there? Like, because they're not seeing their owners for a while.
Well, they do feel anxious, and if the no matter how long the owner may take, as soon as the owner comes back to them, it's like their life comes back totally, completely. They feel scared, like especially if it's their first time going to stay with a stranger.
Hmm. Yeah.
You see, and just it's just like a baby, imagine a baby going to school for the first time in their lives, or going to a kindergarten or a nursery, and that's the first time they go away from home. So of course they develop that sense of anxiousness. Are they, is this person ever going to come back into my life or not? But if it's something that has been repeated over and over again, they get used to it. You see, that's a similar thing with us, right?
Right. And I was just going to talk about that. Like people who train animals, like I don't want to say the circus, but let's say the circus, right? The animals are trained to follow
A certain
tricks,
pattern, yeah.
tricks and patterns. And this is how close to humans they are, that you can
Yes.
truly train them to do certain things, which questions brings the question, are we trained to do certain things?
Yeah, and that's what we learn from them, is that the repetition can make any person change as well. It's not just for animals, but these are some signs that you could see in nature from the animal kingdom and learn from them.
Do you think animals change people?
I believe to the better.
Hmm. Soften them up a little bit.
Soften them up, definitely. Because it's always, you have to nurture the animal. You have to, show some care for the animal. So what does the animal give in return? Love. And it's a harmonious relationship.
I think I'm gonna go get a couple of more cats, and I'm just kidding. My husband would kill me. But I do agree. I do agree 100% that what they emit is actually healing our bodies.
Yes.
And that personally, I'm talking from experience. Um, I'm the perfect testimony for that. Although I never wanted an animal in my life, I don't think I could live without her, because she does um, give me the sense of peace. there's a sense of peace when I'm holding her. And my daughter will tell you, my daughter and I fight to have her in our arms because she does give love. That's
Yeah.
the best way I can say it. And it brings that joy and peace, which again creates the healing, because everyone um, needs love and healing every day, right?
It's
Because
it's
of what we're
it's
doing, what we're seeing.
it's one of the most wonderful energies to exchange, whether person to person or person to animal. It's
Mm.
if you care about someone, they can feel, and guess what? It's contagious. They always want to be around. If animals can sense, who loves animals? Therefore, if you're in the street, sometimes you find a cat walking up to your feet. Why is that? It's because they can sense.
And that's true. That's true, because I was always scared of dogs after that incident. Even growing up, always scared. Oh, and they definitely sensed me being scared.
Yes.
And when I changed and I'm more, comfortable around animals, and it started with my cat, dogs now do come up to me and I just pet them and I'm fine. So they do create a change in our lives. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I am your host, Giovanna Tartarone.
And I'm your co-host, Ahmed Bahman.
And don't forget, give your pets a nice big hug and a kiss, because they love you just the same. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change for Harmonious Living. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change for Harmony.